apology for fighting for Palestine and everybody. Definitely want to thank you guys so much for that. Because definitely needed. So big shout out to yourself. Now, so as we transition into West Ramsey, we've been out here now for 560 weeks, 3,920 days. I count down literally every day. And no one should have to fight like that. It's just sad that the things that are happening around the world is happening right here in our state. There's no justice, just like you said, there's no peace. And I always say it's just us trying to hold people accountable. And it's just sad. So if anybody don't know my story, my brother Tyrone West was brutally executed right here in Baltimore City. He was beat to death on July the 18th, 2013 by 17, all men and women. Death in broad daylight. Like doing nothing wrong but driving black, white, in a murder car. And it's just sad. And so when you fight a Palestinian, I think about the fight that we fight, the struggle that we fight every day just to stay alive in our own state. It's just so sad. And to see that as the children are getting killed in Palestine in full, and then I think about children here, so I can definitely relate everything in one type, one cause type of thing. We're going through the same exact thing right here in the city. And it's to me, it's called the half and the half not. And to me, it's a capitalist system that's designed to perpetuate all this stuff that's happening. And they get paid for it, but meanwhile, we're dying. People are dying and they don't give a damn. And it is up to the people. It's literally up to us, and that's why I take this fight very serious. That's why I've been out here literally for all these weeks. 560 weeks is a long time to be doing anything. I'm exhausted. I just left work, and it's the end of the school year. I had big the conference, so I didn't even have a lunch break today. Like literally, just ate a little bit of food and pushed my way through today. So that was my day. But it's just sad, like everything that's happening. And then but they have a lot of people that's playing the Doug and Pony show right now too. And that's just like we're going nowhere. And it just wants us to believe that we're going somewhere. But the thing is we will go somewhere and people just sit together and we realize that we have the power. That's why they hear us. That's why you see those pigs right there watching us right now. But meanwhile they're not saving anyone's life. So we needed cops like that to be watching us. They should have been watching Brooklyn Homes when they had that massacre happen. When you had black people literally like two people were shot and then two people died. Two teenagers died. Literally two young adults. And it makes me so sad, it breaks my heart. And then they want to come watch us. They want to come watch us. Shame. It's just shame. So when y'all say that they're all the same, they're all the same. And it's just sad and disgusting to me. But no matter what, I'm going to constantly keep on fighting. And I don't just fight for my brother Tyrone West. I fight for literally Timothy Fleming, Anthony Anderson, the list goes on to all the victims of police brutality and terrorism. Like everybody is suffering. And meanwhile, the rich people are getting richer. So it's just sad. It's not, see, I always say it's never about the income, it's always about the outcome. But it's just so sad that we live in a society now that just don't care and the stuff that they play on the television makes us feel like, oh, this stuff is normal. This stuff is not normal. Seeing people get gunned down every single day. And then what they're doing now is dividing us. And we're all one fight, one cause. Because to me, I call it the highway of hell. So right now they're targeting our teenagers in the city, and they got everybody feeling scared of teenagers. And every time something happens bad with a baby, they always relate it to teenage crime. Well, every teenager is not out here committing crime. Most of our babies are in school every day, trying to learn and just trying to make their way. But it's just so sad that they're targeting our babies, and it's ridiculous. And I even feel sorry for the people that's locked up right now. You know, this is a system that this stuff needs to be demolished, like knocked down to the ground. You know, it's just sad. And it's like we're working slaves in America in 2024. You know, when they get them in jail like that, when they lock them up like that, they take away all their rights. We really barely have a right to our will in the street free. You know, they say we're free, but how are we free if I can't enjoy freedom? If I can't enjoy the same freedom knowing that when my children leave home, that they're going to return safely and not be charged by the color of their skin. How can we be free if they leave 6 men on the bridge just because of their race status to die and no one come and save them at the key bridge? They left them to die. Had they would have been any other color, they would have thought of a way to save them. It would have been the same way they shut the bridge down for no one to enter. They would have made sure the workers got off. Shame on them. That is disgusting. And every time I see it and hear it, it makes me furious. It is disgusting. And then they always trying to make the police seem like they're heroes. Well, where was the heroes on that day? Their heroes drove up to save none of those men that went home that were fathers, that were sons, daughters. I'm sorry, that had daughters, families. No one came to save them. And thank God the one saved himself because he was able to roll his window down. When I heard that, that really broke my heart. Because I never thought about, like, when you literally, if you're in an accident and your car goes in water, everything electrical stops working, so you can't roll down your window to free yourself type of thing. But to learn that he actually had an older vehicle, and we all know we want to upgrade things. But I know he's so glad that he was in an older vehicle because he was able to actually roll that window down and climb on. That's the only thing that saves his life because no one came to save their life. They didn't give a damn. And when I listen to the 911 foolishness, it really breaks my heart. Like they didn't know nobody. Like how the hell you didn't know those workers were up there? Everybody's feeling like, oh, we don't know. Like really? But I'll give you a prime example how racist this society is. And it broke my heart. So literally last week I'm coming home from work and this man is like out Dundalk area. Then like it's another highway. I'm in another chase. Someone that hit and crashed into 3 vehicles, and they was like having enough. So my heart is dropping up in my car, thinking like, oh my god, is this someone African American or brown individual? Oh my god, I'm just only thinking like, what in the world is gonna happen? So I literally, as I'm driving, I turned, and this unsafe, but I had my the news on live in my car watching it. And I actually seen how slow they were driving and like doing all their tools out there, flattening the tires of the vehicle after the person hit me. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, this place is must be car cases. And sure enough, it was a car case, a white woman that not only every second gave them the finger, crashed into 3 vehicles, did all of this, they chased her from the county to the city. Then I really got like obnoxious and was like on the end of my seat. Like I had to pull over this point when she drove past the school bus and I'm thinking like, oh my god, I hope she don't crash until like make this babies on that school bus and all that kind of stuff. Or just crash into anyone else. But long story short, they used every tactic in the book not to tase her, not to gun her car down, not to do anything. They're like, oh well this car and the way they said it, I'm thinking like this can't be real. Like this is not here in my city. That's the same city. And I don't care if it was on the county side, the city side, but not the same city or state that William Green was gunned down there when he had a car accident. He had hit 3 cars too, but they put him in the car, the police car, while he was handcuffed, hands behind his back, and they executed him. He was executed in the front freaking seat for the same exact thing. But because it was a white Caucasian woman, this woman, they're like, well, the car is disabled now. They literally let this woman ride the car till the wheels literally fell off. Literally. And then when that was enough, she got up there like, oh, well, you can tell she's inebriated or under the influence of some type of drug because she fell all onto the ground. Then she tried to go on 77. She came back out. They let her do all the shit, get tased. She ain't get nothing. All she got was a gentle back massage, come on, ma'am, type of thing. Handcuffed her, and I mean, not even a piece of her hair was sticking up on the top of her head. And I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because I really feel like, hey, the same way she didn't have her hair sticking up on the top of her head, no one should. The same way you know how, like, so to me, it's not a matter of training them. Because the first thing they do when they tell our people, they say, well, they need better training and sensitive workshops and all. They know they don't. Because they kill who they want to kill. Let's be crystal clear. They kill who they want to kill, and they walk other people to accountability, and they make sure they do not kill who they don't want to kill. And it's sad, and that's the part that disgusts me. Like literally thinking about William Graham, thinking about this Dorothy Elliott sons, Richard Elliott, that was actually gunned down the same way decades ago in a vehicle with his shirt off. So you know that this man they had man weapons. He had on no shirt, bare skin there, and they gunned him down. Did any of his killers go to jail? No, they walked away. So I said all of that to say, and then the part that really messed me up was the fact that immediately the first thing they said, well, as this is going on, we know something eventually happened to this woman. This poor soul. Like they were humanizing her and everything, talking about, and she probably did something mental probably was going on. But I'm saying it's too many people that deal with mental health challenges that are executed in their own damn home. Timothy Fleming was gunned down in front of his goddamn children. Where was those same de-escalation strategies to say, oh, well, let's calm this situation and let's go get this man out? They didn't give a damn. My brother, who wasn't doing anything wrong, was beat to death, pepper spray, caged, hit, tortured in broad daylight while people were videoing. And to this day, we're talking about a decade later, so video footage, nothing. And all they want to come back with this reform. Nah, buddy. Save your reform. It's time to transform it, knock it down, and build it back up. The only solution is a revolution. That's my thing right now. I done tried each and every way. I done tried it all. And the day I got free toilet paper in the mail, I saw a picture of Sheila. Picture with our state's attorney backing her. That is toilet paper to me. Like, what did she do when she was in office? That's my thing. What did she do to save a life? Actually, all the zero tolerance foolery started under her. And I'm not talking about no gift cards because when they get it off, their hands all start to steal and do things and write books and just get all type of ways to get money. It's the capitalist system. That's what they all do. Or when black folks do it, oh, they're gonna call you out. They're gonna make sure they put it out there. But my thing with her, what could you do to make the community safe? And all they keep saying, well, if the community, the homicide was down, of course the homicide was down. We get back to the pigs that's killing people and raping and robbing and doing all the dirt. Of course, when they don't want to kill, they don't kill. And of course, and I'm not saying that every murder is done by officers. I'm not talking about, and I feel sorry for the few good men and women that take their job serious, that's going home and take care of their family. I really feel sorry for the good officers. I really do. Because I've never been anti-police. I'm only anti-police brutality. The ones that want to abuse and think they above the law with that badge. And it's a lot of them like that. And if you wanting to see somebody brutalizing someone and that you work with, and you see them and you don't say do anything, you too are corrupt. You're dangerous as well. Because you can't sit by while your buddy's beating somebody unarmed down or somebody that had a weapon and then sort of just like the other lady, like I said, they took her to accountability with a back rub. Take everybody to accountability with a back rub. But the first thing they do when it comes to certain people that they want to kill, they say we fear for our life. But you're the one coming up to us with guns drawn to our head. We most of the time are unarmed. And you're coming to us armed. Armed. Literally, my brother was an unarmed man. He even turned the control on inside of my vehicle. What I thought to be a safe haven turned out to be my worst nightmare. I had just purchased my second Mercedes Benz. And literally, I let my brother drive it. And what I thought was safe, a safety net, it ultimately got my brother targeted and murdered by some stinking animals. They had no, and then to this day, nobody's held accountable. And the first one we leave, they got a nerve. He's married to Michelle Battle in the state prosecutor office. And we have Ivan Bates now. We can't prosecute the case because of the dealing with the West Ham. True, he has sent some of his people that work with him to a West Ham. He never showed up at one. Let's be crystal clear. I never saw him, but I did see one of his representatives that I have man love and respect for they'll come and show up several times for West Wednesday. That is true. But the truth of the matter, that's not why we're not getting accountability. Because that's what? We're not getting accountability because Michelle Battle works in his office. She's a state prosecutor. So they need to pretty much, hey, if she's not going to do it, take her ass out of there. She needs to not work there. You want to be living with a killer and a violent person? Fire her. Let her go flip some burgers or do something with her life. But she can't not work in a state attorney's office and that block me from or anybody from getting accountability. It's just not right. That's the whole conflict right there. It's because of Michelle Battle and Keller Ruiz, their relationship, their budding relationship. And that's what it's always been about. Everybody's here to be together. Meanwhile, we're dying, we're getting murdered. So again, I just appreciate each and every last one of y'all time. And again, like I said, just to know that people have to suffer. And my heart goes out to the Palestinians that literally, you talking about babies get kidnapped every day, beat up, hell, hostage. Like, how can a murderer allow this kind of stuff to happen anywhere around the world? Then they support it, back it. They support it as if it's cool with them. Because guess what? It is cool with them. They are the devil's advocates. And it's sad and disgusting. But at the same time, when we're fighting here for accountability in the city, for all the victims of police brutality, we're definitely truly fighting for Palestinians because they need to free those babies, free those prisoners. It is disgusting what they're doing. But the same thing that they're doing there, they're doing right here. And let's not get it twisted. Because my mother always told me, before you go anywhere to clean somebody else's house, make sure you clean up your own house. We need to clean our own damn house up first. And it starts with a lot of corruption that goes deeper to the medical examiner's office who covered up my brother's bloody murder. They covered up everybody pretty much that was murdered under David Fowler's watch. He always came back with some type of foolishness. Even in Anthony Anderson's case, even though he came back and said it was murder, but he lied and said Anthony Anderson had drugs in the system, which he did. It was a drug that they gave them, which they give people that pretty much that what's the name of the drug? Narcan and Narcan. And that's the same drug that they gave to my brother. Because one of the officers lied and said, oh, my brother was acting like he was under the influence of drugs. My brother wasn't under the influence of anything. The only thing he was under was the influence of killers, influence of ignorant people, influence of cowards. That's the only influence that he was under. So let's be crystal clear. I don't care if it takes every breath out of my body. I will fight. And if I die today tomorrow, I'm going to come back and haunt the hell out of them. I promise you that. I promise you that. You think when you're killing us, guess what? We got people that love us, that's going to fight for us or continue the same love that we have when, for our loved ones. We extend that love to the Palestinians. We love them. We know and announce that if we were right over there right now, what would happen if we were over there now? What would happen? We all be going through the same exact thing. That's what people need to realize. It's one fight, one cause, one purpose. Knock it down and put it back up. Mic check.
Mike check. I'm going to make quite a few points. Um, First, I want to juxtapose the Palestinian and Israel issue because the Israelis call the people in prison prisoners, but they call their own people being held by Hamas hostages. Wow. But really, the Palestinians being held in jail in Israel are also hostages because a lot of the times they were unarmed and they were just scooping up all the young men off the street. All the young men who could fight for their freedom, they were just scooping them up off the streets and just charging them with bogus charges, but calling them prisoners. No, they're hostages too. And one of your chants was saying about they jail children. We jail children here too. Mm-hmm. Israel learned that shit from us. We train the Israel army. They get trained here in America. So that's some of the things that I wanted to talk about. And then I want to juxtapose the white female in the slow rolling chase against Corinne Gaines. Okay, because this was all Baltimore County until she wound up in the city. So Baltimore County pulls over Corinne Gaines for some issue with her tags. They give her a citation, and then she goes home. And when she didn't wind up going to the court hearing, they sent SWAT to her house. They sent the SWAT team over a traffic violation. She did not hit any vehicle. She did not get into a police chase. She did not shoot anybody. She did not hurt anyone. It was just a traffic violation. And they sent SWAT to her house. And then one of the SWAT members got bored, said, I'm tired of this shit, and shot through her door, shot through her kitchen, shot her baby in the face, and killed her. That's the reality of the Corinne Gaines story. And it's because she was black. And she was a freedom fighter. She was a freedom fighter. And they killed her because she knew what her rights were. And now you want to talk about a slow rolling chase through multiple counties, hitting multiple vehicles. And then she was out the window flipping them off while she was driving around. And then she just got taken peacefully by city cops, by the way, off of Erdman Avenue. She got taken by city cops. So, yeah, like my problem is that like they show that they can show restraint. They show that they know how to properly pull someone over. And then they said some shit on TV like they couldn't pull a pit maneuver to stop that truck that white chick was driving. They couldn't pull a pit maneuver because she didn't have any warrants. That's what they said. How many times do you see them not only high speed chase people through the streets, but then use pit maneuvers and the sticks and all that kind of stuff against people?
My brother ain't have no warrant. My brother had nothing.
He most certainly had no warrant. He was pulled over for a supposed moving violation too. He was driving through slow to a stop. You're supposed to slow down to a stop sign. They just didn't like the way he was driving, or was he set up? This is the question. And we still don't know, like, all of the facts of the situation because we don't know anything about what was going on with that passenger. We don't know if she's the one that set him up. There's so many unanswered questions because this was not investigated properly. And then Ivan Bates wants to keep getting on TV and talking about all this stuff, and then he wants to run his mouth on social media about something that happened with Brandon Scott and outright lied. He outright lied about the interaction. And then he says, oh, I must have misspoke. No, dude, you lied. Just like you lied to our face. When we bring you extra evidence, we bring you what was handed over to Marilyn Mosby. We bring it to you, and then you say, I'm going to get this handled. But you lied because it's still not being handled. Y'all are playing hot potato. Hot potato with this case. An 11-year-old case, you're playing hot potato with it. Enough is enough. You say, oh, well, we don't like to let go about the past. We're going for the future. Well, you have to deal with the past because there's no statute of limitations on murder. And they murdered Tyrone West. Reopen his case, investigate it, and Michelle Battle, get a new job. You can't have one person in that entire office holding up the investigation and reopening of this case. That is absolutely ridiculous. What if that was your brother, Ivan? What if that was your son, Ivan? Because I know you have children. What if that was your son? Would you let Michelle Battle's conflict of interest interfere with the murder investigation of your own son? Tyrone was a son. Tyrone was a father. Tyrone was a brother. Tyrone was a friend. Tyrone was an uncle and a grandfather. So would you do that to your own kin? Would you do that to your own skin folk? Apparently. Apparently you will. Because you did the same thing to Donnell Rochester case. You did the same thing to all the cases that came after that while you've been in office. Shame on you. Shame on you. Mic check.
Mike, check.
That's my sister has it on fire. And she pointed out quite a few good things, good pointers, and I just want to elaborate on her points. And as I think about Corinne Gaines, a freedom fighter, this black, beautiful young queen knew her rights. She knew her rights, and she always was on YouTube. Even if you go into Google search her name or go on YouTube and put Corinne Gaines, and you will see pieces of her talking about how Black Lives Matter, as well as knowing her rights and everything. And what happened was when that officer pulled her over, my opinion, was because she knew what to say, he couldn't do nothing and he was on fire. And he did his research on her too. That's why they put the SWAT team to execute her. And I think about Sandra Bland that was executed. Executed. And they try to say she hung herself in herself. A black queen, a freedom fighter that spoke out all the time before she got murdered, speaking out to her kings and queens every morning, telling them how to, fight this dirty system, knock it down, build it up. And then she get pulled over for a so-called traffic stop, and mysteriously, and you hear her saying, "Oh my goodness, I can't wait." Like she was gonna tell him a whole new, you know what, because she knew her rights. She couldn't wait to put him on blast. And they're like, So what did they do? They hung her. They lynched her. That's exactly what they did. And then to think about where she at that president state, where she was at, Dallas, Texas, are you kidding me? I literally just went on a trip there. This is my third time going to Dallas, Texas, but this was my first time ever riding down there. First time ever staying for almost a week and really getting to see how prejudiced they are there. I didn't even know about sundown towns. I heard about stuff, but I'm like, not in 2024. Like, I must be simple. I feel like, oh my God, like, how can I? But the fact that nobody's talking about what happens when the sun goes down if you're in one of those states, there's something to be murdered just from your skin color. There's something to be murdered. There's something to be molded by an animal, a dog. They were walking around with big German shepherds. One rest stop we went at, and my heart was like, Me and my daughters, all three of us had to literally go to the bathroom. And when I saw this white Caucasian female with three big German shepherds, I'm like, hell no, we're going to the next rest stop. They're like, mine, Like, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. You see this white lady just standing there with three big black German shepherds, like, nah. And I didn't even know that was like some of their things that they do, let people get molded until after we got safely to our hotel. And I started looking up that stuff and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But I said all this to say racism is real. It's very real. It's an ugly head that keeps on rearing its ugly head all the time. Not some of the time, all the time. And that's the saddest, scariest, dangerous part. Racism is very real. You can sleep on it if you want to, but it's very real. It is very real and it's very disturbing. So I'm gonna open up the mic. If anybody else want to say anything, mic check.
Mike, check.
Hi, y'all. A lot of this is very hard stuff we deal with, and it's like a lot of death, a lot of pain. So I think we need to kind of be nice to ourselves from time to time and just find something to celebrate. And so after this next West Wednesday next week, I'm inviting everybody over to my house for what I call revolutionaries on my porch drinking beer. And so we're just going to get together and have some food, have some drinks, and just you'll be with some of the best people you'll ever meet. And we're going to be celebrating Rachel's birthday because we never got to celebrate Rachel's birthday. So I'll put that in the I'll put my address and everything in the chat, and we'll go to my house and have a little party for ourselves because we deserve it. We work hard. Thank you.
Thanks. So if anybody else want to speak or say anything before, unfortunately, I'm respecting time guys been out here for a minute doing your thing. And let's give a big shout out to our girl that was pumping everybody up, this beautiful queen. Yeah, so you definitely, when you wrap up, you definitely got to get back on here and say some more chants if you don't mind. If you don't mind. So, yeah. So, if anybody else want to say anything before we roll into our sad list, and at the end of every West Wednesday, unfortunately, we go into a sad list where we talk about not only the victims of police brutality, but all the victims of homicide right here in our city as well. So, all right, so about all hearts and minds and clear, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up our disclaimer. I'll read that and we can, so I'll admit that, I'm so sorry. Stay in a solidarity for a minute and take it from there. All right. It is the mission of the West Coalition to work for accountability for Tyrone West and all the victims of police brutality. We believe that there is a connection between police brutality and community violence. Police can use the escalation strategy to diffuse situations without necessarily using force. And we encourage community members to resolve disputes without violence. We care deeply about those families impacted by police brutality and community violence. We seek to lift up the names of their loved ones from a place of respect and care. We obtain these lists of names of those shot and killed by the police and those lost to community violence from national and local news outlets. We know that these are no means exhaustive lists and that gun violence isn't the only way people are murdered. We do not obtain detailed information about the circumstances surrounding each of these deaths or the people who died. By reading these things, we're not condoning violence on the behavior. I'm sorry, we're not condoning violent behavior on the part of anyone involved in the situation. So at this time, the time now is 7:44. So at 7:45, we're going to return. Let's just get you into prayer, say a prayer. If not, send nothing but positive love, not only for all the victims, but even all the people, the Palestinians, everybody that's suffering with tragic loss, tragedies, and everything. Starting, well, it's at 7:45. Let's start now to 7:46. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you guys so much. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you. So, one of the hard things we do every week is lift up the names of all the people who've been murdered here in Baltimore in the past week. We do this for a lot of reasons. For one thing, these are people who deserve to have their spirits lifted up, and they have these people with mothers and fathers, and friends, and coworkers, and people who've known all their lives like just met, and each one of them is people on an entire world, as some people say. So we just lift that up, and we also try and take that same, in doing the same thing, we try and remind ourselves of what we're doing here and why we're doing this. Not because we want to like have people honk at us on the street, it's because we want to make a world where people aren't killed needlessly. So this week we only have one name for you here in Baltimore. 23-year-old black man. He got his name back from me. He was Kennard Murray.
Kennard Murray.
Thank you.
Who has supposed to tell me this? Uncle Bill. Mic check.
Mic check.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to be reading the names of 22 people whose lives were stolen by the police in the period of about a week and a day, starting March 27th through April 4th.
Shame.
If you can repeat after me when I say the name so we can honor each person, that'd be great. The first person killed by police that we're honoring this evening was nearby in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, 28 years old, on March the 27th, killed by police, Ian Tilton.
Ian Tilton.
Again on March 27th, in Queens, New York, 19 years old, Wynn Rosario.
Wynn Rosario.
Again on March 27th, in Pacifica, California, 50-year-old woman, Michelle Arais.
Michelle Arais.
March 29th, in Chevron, Nebraska, 40 years old, Adrian Muniz.
Adrian Uniz.
March the 30th, in Gladstone, Montana, 32 years old, Christopher Reaver.
Christopher Reaver.
By the way, this list comes from the Washington Post, and they only list people who were killed by police through the method of being shot. So Tyrone, for example, was beat to death. He would not be on this list. Many others would not be on this list, so it's not a complete list. On March the 30th, in Los Angeles, California, 44 years old, Adrian Pilar.
Adrian Pilon.
Again on March the 30th, in Homestead, Florida, unarmed, 34 years old, Leandro Chan.
Leandro Chan.
March the 31st, in Spokane, Washington, 38 years old, Alan Jenks.
Alan Jenks.
Again on the 31st, in Florence, Mississippi, 33 years old, Justin Kitchen.
Justin Kitchen.
March 31st, yet again, Indianapolis, Indiana, 31 years old, Luis Duran Ruano.
Luis Duran Ruano.
In Richmond, Virginia, again on the 31st, 20 years old, Kenneth Sharp.
Kenneth Sharp.
In Kansas City, Missouri, 59 years old, again on March 31st, Leo George.
Leo George.
In Florence, Alabama, 42 years old, we've now moved to April the 1st, Bart Barcelo.
Barcelo.
Again on April 1st, and of course, as you know, this is serious, it's not a joke, even though it's April 1st, Ponchatoula, Louisiana, 20 years old, Warren Burton.
Warren Burton.
Again on April 1st, in Houston, Texas, 44 years old, not yet identified.
Cell block for killer cops.
Ashe. And Ashe, for those that are not familiar, Yoruba means let it be so. So when we say cell block for killer cops, when we say Ashe, it means let it be so. April 1st again, in Hamilton, Montana, Zachary Adler.
Zachary Ather.
April the 2nd, in Salt Lake City, Utah, 35 years old, Cameron Cloward.
Hamlin Howard.
Again on April the 2nd, in Lexington, Kentucky, 47 years old, Joseph Carrico.
Joseph Carrico.
The gentleman that just pulled up my car, these are all the names of people recently killed by police. In Victorville, California, 17 years old, on April the 3rd, Aaron James.
Aaron James.
And the last, no, it's not the last, sorry. Again on April the 3rd, in East Austin, Texas, 51 years old, Jay Friedman.
Jay Friedman.
April the 4th, in Roswell, New Mexico, 27 years old, Javier Salinas Jr.
Javier Salinas Jr.
And finally, we end this long list in Martin, Tennessee, 44 years old, killed by police, April the 4th, Bobby Dickens.
Bobby Dickens.
Thank you for honoring all these stolen lives. Mike check.
Mike check.
Thank you, Uncle Bill. Thank each and every last one. Trump bring our beautiful queen back up. I wanted to just, acknowledge that we we would be remiss if we did not think about Freddie Gray. You know, it's just sad that, when the tragedy happened, the murder of him being brutally murdered. And he wouldn't be on that list either because he wasn't gunned down. But they had to literally drag him in a vehicle already injured from injuries that they did. He didn't even injuries to himself. Those killer cops roughed him up, threw him in a van, and they rather blame a van than human. That's just how the capitalist system does. Oh well, it's the way that they run from. No, that's the way y'all put your hands on people. That's what I'm talking about. The foolishness about you need to safety about all that's foolishness. That's an illusion to fool us. But a big shout out to our brother Judas, who is literally giving the event this Friday. And if you haven't gotten the tickets, please show up, be there. I'm definitely with doing a bunch of stuff. I'm still going to speak and go there and see, what's going on because it's always been a beautiful event. Last year and for the last 2 years, he always had invited us to be on like the panel and discussion, but never forget Freddie Gray and what happened. If we get any of those killer cops get prosecuted, no. So, but again, let's think about how everybody's pulled together. And it's just sad that we don't get results until we as people pull it out. But the capitalist system, they're more so worried about CPS getting burned to the ground than a young man's life being snatched. It's insane. So we're gonna end it out with our beautiful queen. Mic check.
Mic check.
Justice for Tyrone West!
Justice for Tyrone West.
Justice for Tyrone West!
Justice for Tyrone West.
Justice for Tyrone West!
Justice for Tyrone West.
No justice!
No peace.
No justice!
No peace.
No justice!
No peace.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want it?
Now.
And if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
what do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
And if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
we don't get it,
Shut it down.
we don't get it.
Shut it down.
Come on.
Shut it down.